All right, welcome to the show. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight, we preview WWE Royal Rumble 2021. Who will win the men's rumble, the women's rumble? Who will walk away from the event as champions? And AEW Beach Break preview for that coming up as well. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Beach Break.
I guess you're excited for that. I just thinking about SmackDown right now, so I thought SmackDown, because Beach Break's a week from now, like whatever. I'm not even thinking the matches. I'm just thinking about what we just saw like a couple minutes ago.
Isn't Beach Break the next Dynamite?
Yeah, it's the next one, but like that's Wednesday. Like I'm just thinking about what we just saw like a couple minutes ago here.
All right, take it easy.
SmackDown. That's what's going on right now. The Rumble.
Yeah, you're right. We're gonna stick to the Rumble. We'll get to Beach Break later. But the next Dynamite is Beach Break. I just like saying Beach Break. I don't know. Beach Break. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good show. Will it be better than the Rumble? Possibly. Right? Let's get to the Rumble. WWE's Royal Rumble coming up this Sunday. We're going to be live after the Rumble, during the Rumble. When's the show going to start on Sunday, John? Could you make that decision?
It usually starts at 7.
No, our show.
Oh, our show will start pretty much when the Rumble's over.
I thought we'd go on maybe during the Rumble.
Well, because a lot's happening in the Rumble.
So
it's better right after it.
You want to go on after?
I think that's the best way to do it.
All right. We'll go on after the Rumble, okay? So as soon as the Rumble's over, Johnny and I will be here to give you our reactions and to recap the entire event. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Rumble. I have no idea who's going to win the Rumble. Men or women. Like, I had a pretty good idea going into the week, and then this whole week kind of threw me off. To end SmackDown tonight, a new contender emerged. Braun Strowman returns to the WWE. Haven't seen him since November. He comes back tonight, beats up a bunch of guys that were all talking about the Royal Rumble. Sheamus was there. Big E, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Otis getting the win over AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Miz, John Morrison, and Cesaro in a 10-man tag that started off as Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles one-on-one, but then turned into a 6-man tag and then a 10-man tag. Fun booking on SmackDown.
A little awkward. I mean, I get what they were trying to do, just have a bunch of people at the end, make it seem like a Rumble in itself right there. It wasn't the best part of the show, so I wouldn't have ended with that. I think the Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens promo was the best way to end it, because that was the strongest thing they had on the whole show.
Yeah, I thought Kevin was going to go attack Roman at some point at the end of that. Didn't it seem like he was just like fed up with Roman and was going to go looking for him?
Yeah, but he did that last week, though, so it's better just to get the words out, and it's like, just wait until what he does to him at the pay-per-view, because now he's mad, now he wants to tear him apart. Now you really want to see the pay-per-view for that.
I suppose. We'll see what happens at the pay-per-view between Roman and Kevin. We'll get to that, but I want to first stick with the Rumble match. I feel like we had a lot of contenders show up this week. We had Braun Strowman show up at the end. I think Daniel Bryan is a contender. Edge's promo on Raw. Edge is coming back. He's going to be in the Rumble. I think that made him a contender. Great promo from Edge. There's a lot of contenders for this thing. And you look at what makes sense. Roman Reigns is there as the champion. I think he's going to stay champion. And then, you know, he'll take on somebody at WrestleMania. But who? What, you think Kevin's going to beat Roman, John? What are you laughing at?
Oh, I'm just laughing at one of the comments. Like, it's quite good, because it's kind of true, actually, what Bob Cote just wrote. I'm like, yep, that's exactly it. It's been like that the last couple of years, actually. Was it not like that last year?
Last year, I wasn't too happy with who won the Royal Rumble. I haven't been happy with who's won the Rumble for a while now, right? Bob Cote says on the chat, he's like, watching Dave's reaction to someone he hates winning the Rumble makes it worth going on before it ends. So that's Bob's vote. He wants to see us, he wants to see my reaction live to the Rumble winner. I might be upset. I don't know. I might go on during the Rumble. I might start the show with my brother and have you come on after, John. We'll see. If you want to watch the Rumble uninterrupted. Shout out to Patrick C. Hamilton. I see Patrick on the chat. He is a member of the Ringside Report team. He joined up on the YouTube channel. Become a member as well. We appreciate it. Support the Ringside Report Network and all the great shows that we do here for you, breaking down everything in pro wrestling and mixed martial arts. Matt O'Hayan, my man, says I'm a legend. Matt knows. Matt knows I'm a legend.
Already a legend. That's pretty good.
You better believe it, baby. I think this year, though, they're going to give it to me. I think this year they're finally going to give me what I want. Give me what I want! Not Batista.
Which is?
Not Batista. Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
I think they're actually going to give it to Bryan this year. And it's like... There's never been a worse time to give it to Daniel Bryan. Because if you give it to Daniel Bryan, does he take on Roman Reigns? Or now, SmackDown was weird tonight. Was SmackDown odd to you? SmackDown was odd to me. Right?
Just the ending.
Not just the ending. All of a sudden, Sheamus shows up. AJ Styles shows up. Miz and Morrison show up. A lot of Raw people showed up on SmackDown tonight. Now, you could say, oh, it's a build to the Rumble. People from SmackDown didn't show up on Raw this week. So, I feel like they're setting us up for some sort of inter-brand challenging. You saw Miz show up with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he was teasing cashing in on Kevin Owens or Roman Reigns after the Last Man Standing match, which hasn't been talked about before. So they're teasing some sort of inter-brand challenge, inter-brand cash-in perhaps. So I could see Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble, Miz cashing in on Drew McIntyre, Goldberg, and Daniel Bryan challenging Miz at WrestleMania for the title. That would make sense.
Yeah, I could see that. The way I look at it, it's best just to do it like this. Like, there's going to be a strong candidate from Raw, strong candidate from SmackDown, and maybe a mystery person might just come up and win this. So that's the way I kind of gauged both Rumbles. And I thought in the end, like, one of those picks are definitely going to win. I would hope anyways. I would be happy with how the Rumble would end up if it's going to be something like that. But who knows? You could get mad again, like last year.
Who do you think's going to win the Rumble, John? There's my pick. My pick is Daniel Bryan. It's been Daniel Bryan for a while now. He's never won the Royal Rumble. His contract is up this year with the WWE. You want to keep this guy happy. You want to keep him in a major spot. He's fantastic. He's a living legend. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's never won a Royal Rumble, and he's been one of these guys who a lot of people have wanted him to win the Rumble on a few different occasions. So why not give it to him now? Daniel Bryan up against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is not that appealing because I don't see Daniel Bryan ending the Roman Reigns run at this point. I don't see anybody ending it right now because Roman is just on such a hot streak. It doesn't seem like the WWE is going to do anything to rock him off his perch. So I don't really buy into a Daniel Bryan-Roman Reigns main event at WrestleMania, even though I think you could do it. Daniel Bryan is the people's champion, Roman Reigns as the corporate champion. It's not bad, but Miz and Bryan have that history. Miz has that Money in the Bank briefcase. He's got to cash in at some point. Drew McIntyre is going to wrestle Goldberg. You would think it would take everything to beat Goldberg for Drew McIntyre, although that match could be really short. That match will be really short. So I don't know how much Drew is going to take as far as punishment. Maybe he'll take a couple spears, be really beat up, and hit one Claymore out of desperation to kind of save the day. And then Miz could come in, cash in, take the title that way. A lot of different options right now, and that's what makes the Royal Rumble really interesting on Sunday, is that I'm not really sure where they're going to go. I could see them going with Braun Strowman and have Braun Strowman as a babyface monster up against heel Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I could see them going with Edge and having Edge go up against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania for the title. Or Miz or somebody else. You know, Randy could find his way to the title. Although everything that I'm seeing is pointing to Randy Orton versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt in some sort of Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania. That seems to be Randy's trajectory right now, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of moving parts in the WWE. Like, if Edge doesn't win the Rumble, where does he fit in for WrestleMania? You know he's going to have a match. What's he going to do? It's interesting.
Yeah, well, here, I agree with you with SmackDown. If someone from SmackDown wins, it's going to be Daniel Bryan. But he's not my strong pick. I think Edge, after that promo, it's like, how do you not give it to Edge? Because you kind of just said it yourself right there. It seems like he's destined to get the title shot. And I would think, like, you know, Drew McIntyre, fine, but honestly, him against Roman Reigns, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Edge versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah. It'd be all right. I don't see it. I don't see Edge. I don't know. I could see Edge winning. I wouldn't be mad at it, but he's won what? 2 Rumbles already?
He's won 1 Rumble.
Just 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you give him 2?
Well, he gave a lot of people 2 when you think about it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been given. Who has won 2 Royal Rumbles? Who?
Orton's won 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Cena's won 2. Batista's won 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan.
It's a pretty elite group. And Austin
Shawn.
won 3, right?
Austin won
Shawn.
3, yeah.
No one's won 3 other than Austin. Now,
I think
Edge,
it's what people want to see.
I just think that he's... I hate saying this because it's going to seem disrespectful, but you know I love Edge. But he's old and injury prone. And there's no guarantee that he's even going to be able to show up at WrestleMania. Who knows if he makes it through the Rumble? His comeback has been, you know, rough. So, not that I wouldn't love to see Edge come back and win the title at Mania and have this great moment. I love Edge. I wonder if you really want to put all your eggs in the Edge basket right now. When other guys have been around, you know, the whole year, you're giving it again to like a guy who's not there all the time. Royal Rumble is a big achievement. And you know me, I'm a Daniel Bryan guy, through and through, forever. And the fact that Daniel Bryan hasn't won the Rumble, I don't know. I'd give it to him. I wouldn't be mad at Sexton Hardcastle getting it, but my God, I feel like it would be a lot at this point for him. He doesn't really need it. He could challenge for the belt in another way. I don't see another way for Daniel Bryan to do it, especially given how much he's lost on SmackDown recently. So Edge against Roman would be your Mania match?
Well, you know what my Mania match would be. I mean, I'd find some way to make sure Randy gets the title. Like, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. But
you know, ideal world, obviously. But
Seth
I just
Rollins,
look at it like
Seth Rollins might come back in the Rumble as well, right? I expect him to come back in the Rumble. He could win and face Roman at Mania. We've been talking about him.
Right. Well, then we talk about like mystery picks, like guys that have been gone and something will come back. Like I would think Brock more than Seth because I think again Brock works the best because Brock can work both ways. So like I think Brock for me, if there's gonna be a mystery guy to come back and win it, Brock's the guy because Brock can change everything.
I heard Brock's not coming back.
Well, that's why he's not my top. I go more with Edge than I go with Brock. I go with Daniel Bryan more than Brock. But it would be fun if that happened.
I don't. Again, Brock is a guy not there all the time, doesn't really need it. I wouldn't give it to Brock. I feel like Daniel Bryan is a guy that we need to win the Royal Rumble. Edge wouldn't be bad, but Braun Strowman wouldn't be bad either. I think Braun Strowman winning it would be good. He's a monster. You want to put accolades on him, build up his resume, you know?
Well, he won the title last year, WrestleMania. Like, I mean, does he really need the Rumble now this year, too?
Well, if he doesn't win the Rumble, he's going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, you either do something with him or you do nothing with him. That's kind of where he's at. You see the shape he's in? It looks tremendous. God.
Yeah, he looks great, but I don't think you need to give him the Rumble and put the title on him. Like, I mean, you did that last year, so I think go in a different direction. Who?
Braun. He didn't win last year.
No, he didn't win. I'm saying don't give it to him. Don't. He got the title last year. They just gave him the title shot out of nowhere.
By
they
default.
don't have to give him the Rumble now.
Default.
Yeah, he did win by
Roman
default,
bailed.
but still, you still got the WrestleMania moment. You still got the title win WrestleMania. You'll always have that. Some guys never got that chance.
Patrick C. Hamilton, he says, I read that John Cena will be at WrestleMania. I have read that as well. They're starting to leak some things for Mania. They have some plans. The Firefly Funhouse is one thing. Bray and Randy, which, you know. And then Cena in something. Cena Edge?
No, honestly, I'd like to see Cena against R-Truth. I think that'd be great.
What? For the 24/7 title?
Oh, R-Truth keeps putting over how like Cena's like his role model. He keeps doing Cena's moves. I think that match would be fun.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Wow,
We're talking about John Cena.
Well, remember last year? You talk about ridiculous. That was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, like in WWE.
Well, wait till your favorite wrestler does it at WrestleMania this year. Randy Orton's Firefly Funhouse. That'll be fun for you.
I hope it does. I hope he avoids that. Like, that was one of the worst matches too. Like, remember Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, WrestleMania a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But hopefully they don't go down that direction. Like, hopefully they change it.
This will be very bad. This will be a very bad match at WrestleMania. The Bray and Randy Firefly Funhouse, it will be all-time bad. Goodness. I hope Daniel Bryan wins. I really do. If he doesn't, I think we have good options though. Like I don't think anybody's gonna win the Rumble where you're like bummed out. You know, I don't think there's really a bad pick. Anybody, it could be anybody. Like, I think if Seth comes back and wins the Rumble, I'd be a little disappointed. Other than that, I'm good. Edge wins. Bryan wins. Hell, Braun Strowman. Otis. I think if Otis wins, it'd be the funniest thing. Because they take the money in the bank off him. They have him win Money in the Bank in the summer. And they're like, oh, this isn't going to work. They take the Money in the Bank off of him. And then they have him win the Rumble because, like, let's just push Otis again. Stop and start, you know? That's what they do. Otis,
the Rumble's
by
a
the
big
way,
deal, though.
Yeah, I know the Rumble's a big deal. So is Money in the Bank. Rumble and Money in the Bank gives you basically the same thing.
You can fix Money in the Bank, though. The Rumble, I mean, it's really hard to just, like, throw away that spot.
Make a triple threat, fatal four-way. It's very easy. Do something at Elimination Chamber. You can always mess that up.
You could, but it's why mess it up? Like, why go through all that trouble to mess it up when you can just make it right the first time?
Officially in the Royal Rumble, we have, let's count them now, shall we? Figure out how many we have left. We have 20.
I think we're halfway in the men's.
20, more than halfway.
More
Daniel
than halfway.
Bryan.
Okay, good.
Daniel Bryan, Roberto Lashley. You notice MVP called him Roberto on Raw this week? I was like, that's his real name. Roberto Lashley.
Yeah,
AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Otis, Miz, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali. It's Mustafa now. Edge, King Corbin, Rey Mysterio, and Domino Mysterio. 20 men announced for the 30-man over-the-top rope Royal Rumble. So, 10 people that we haven't named here. What do you think, John? Could we figure out some people?
Well, let's probably take 2 picks from NXT, I think.
Okay.
I like Damian Priest. I think he'd be a good pick. Maybe Adam Cole, something like that.
Okay.
The rest, it's kind of tough. Like, you think like surprise people, but like, are you going to bring surprise people like during a pandemic? I think you limit the surprises. Make maybe 1 or 2 if you're lucky.
Seth Rollins.
Well, I was thinking more like guys that aren't like active wrestlers. Like maybe you bring Booker T because the guy's doing the Booker T song, so Booker T will be there anyways. So use Booker.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to like this, but Jerry Lawler might be there, so why not use Jerry Lawler?
Because, last time he was in a WWE ring, he nearly died, right?
But I believe he's actually been wrestling even during the pandemic, like indie shows. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll never stop wrestling. Triple H? Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
They're around?
Not Shawn, but probably Triple H, yeah.
Shawn's around.
Well, Shawn doesn't really, because he's retired, right? He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's not going to come back for a Rumble appearance, especially if he's not going to win.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised Triple H does it if he's not going to win.
And then various guys who are backstage that they just kind of find. Like, Grand Metalik isn't officially in the Rumble, but he'll probably get a spot. Kalisto, Titus O'Neil, those guys.
Well, I think only Lashley's in it, right? So maybe more members of the Hurt Business, possibly. Right. They have enough guys to fill it up. They don't need to get extras.
Yeah, they don't need anybody from outside or anything. How about the women's Rumble match? They have fewer participants announced. 13 of the 30 have been announced. Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Mandy, Dana, Peyton, Alexa, Shayna, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Tamina, and Natty. And Tamina and Natty are going to have a match on Backstage. And the winner gets the 30th spot in the Rumble. So either Tamina or Natty will be number 30. Neither of them will win, but that's a thing that's happening. Bayley lost clean to Bianca Belair on SmackDown. The match was okay. I think Bayley's going to win the Rumble. She's been my pick from the start. I'm going with Sasha Banks versus Bayley at WrestleMania. Give Bayley the Rumble. Bayley is a future Hall of Famer. She hasn't won a Rumble. She's one of the original 4, Forget the 4 horsewomen. Forget all that. They're the original 4. Bayley, Becky, Sasha, Charlotte. Sasha versus Bayley is an all-time WWE classic match that's never been done at a WrestleMania. They've been circling each other for a while on SmackDown. It makes sense to do Bayley versus Sasha at Mania. It makes sense to give Bayley the Royal Rumble. Bayley has been a tremendous talent in the WWE this year. One of the best that they have, if not the best talent that's been going consistently. You look at the character change, the shift from the old Bayley to current Bayley. Imagine her going back to old Bayley now. Be ridiculous. This new Bayley character, the fact that she's been able to completely transform and evolve the character, it's fantastic. I'm a big fan of Bayley's work. I think she's the best. And I think she deserves a Rumble win this year. I think this is her time. And I was watching that match, Bianca Belair and Bayley, and they treat Bianca like the kind of rookie upstart, and Bayley's the veteran. You know, that Bianca's just coming in from NXT trying to knock off Bayley, who's been around for so long. You know, they're the same age.
Well, yeah, but Bayley's been wrestling longer, so, I mean, they can still call Bayley the veteran, because she is.
But WWE treats them like, well, in 5 years, Bianca's going to be a much bigger star. But I don't think that's the case. I think in 5 years, Bayley will be a much bigger star than she is right now and still be bigger than Bianca. Especially given how good Bayley is right now and only getting better. I just feel like they're disrespecting Bayley. They're treating Bayley like she's older than she is.
Well, it's just that we've seen Bayley, you know, and like it was like the year of Bayley last year when you think about it. I mean, she pretty much dominated SmackDown. I mean, she beat pretty much everybody on SmackDown in one match last year at WrestleMania, and she had the championship for most of the year. And then she had arguably the best, like one of the best matches, I think, last year with Hell in a Cell, her and Sasha. I think it was probably the best feud for the female division, without question. So, like, Bayley, like, I don't think they put her down whatsoever. If anything, they're using Bayley to help put over Bianca, where it's like, you know, Bayley's great, and now look what Bianca can do. Like, for whatever reason this week, they're pushing her like crazy. I guess because there was, like, a doc about her, and I guess that got a lot of praise. So now they're like, I don't know if you heard commentary. They were pushing her like she's the next big star in wrestling, and I feel like they changed it. They changed the direction. I think it was going to be Bayley, but now I think it's going to be Bianca.
Winning the Rumble?
Yeah, I think so.
See, I just don't think she's ready.
I agree with you too, but I think they're just going to use the momentum. They're going to be like, screw it. Like, she's over. People want to see it. Give people what they want.
How do you know that she's over? There's no fans.
Again, you're judging it more off like social media, just people praising her for the doc and like how people are like, oh, this is great for her. I didn't watch it myself, but I saw all the comments about it. So I think they're just going to ride that momentum because like that's what it felt like on SmackDown. And if you heard the promo, her promo was not great, but the fact that she got emotional and she was kind of like insinuating like the doc, she went through a lot. So they're kind of trying to play that in there, I think. And I think that would play in to the WrestleMania build-up, that she went through so much to get to this moment.
Documentary doesn't make you a great wrestler, though. I just think that she's several steps behind a lot of the others. I think she's very talented and has a lot of potential. I'm a big fan of Bianca Belair's. The entrance is fantastic. The character's great. But the promos are a little shaky. You know, that promo she did on the stage was not very good. And then you compare it to Bayley or Sasha or even Carmella and their promos, like, they're far more seasoned. Like, you could tell, like, Bianca's not at their level. She's kind of green, so treat her that way until she gets better. Don't push her to the top if she's not ready for it, because then you really expose her, you know? I think winning the Rumble will be a bad thing for Bianca right now. Too much too soon, you know?
Like, I get your point. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you in terms of, like, her ability compared to the others, but the fact is, like, I think the others are over already. People, they're established, and this is a great way to put her among the elite by giving her the Rumble and making her into a big star, like, quicker.
I disagree, John. I disagree with that method of booking. You don't give somebody a huge accolade to make them a star. You give a huge star a huge accolade to make them a bigger star. You don't give somebody a Royal Rumble in the hopes that this will kind of catapult them to the next level, which the WWE tries to do, and they do it with their titles. They do it with all sorts of shit that doesn't work, right? They can't do that. What they have to do is give the Rumble to people that, like, deserve to win a Royal Rumble. Like Bayley sitting at home her whole life watching professional wrestling, so watching the Royal Rumble, she deserves to win a Royal Rumble. It would mean something to her. It's an achievement to her. It's like, you know, it's a reward for being an excellent professional wrestler. And the titles should be treated like that as well, because that way you get the best people in the best spots, and you have everybody else who's not as good aspiring to get better to be given those spots. Not like, oh, well, I'm okay and I'm just going to get everything because they like me. It's not good wrestling. It's not good TV. It's not good for your roster. It's just not good.
Again, I'm not going to disagree with your thought process. I actually prefer your thought process, but I feel like WWE, that's not their thought process whatsoever. They just go with, what do people want to see, what's over right now, and then, like, let's just run with it. You see this now with Goldberg. Like, Goldberg's one of the best examples. Like, might not be the best wrestler, but was one of the most over characters ever in wrestling. And I think, not to say Bianca's going to be like the next Goldberg, but they realize she has a lot of momentum right now, and they're going to try to capitalize on that. Which we complain about, too. Like, we complain that they don't make new stars. They have the opportunity right here to make a new star with the Rumble.
Yeah, I don't think you make new stars with the Rumble. You know, that's not how you make stars. But anyways, I think Bayley's going to win the Rumble, and you're picking Bianca Belair? That's your pick?
Yeah, that's my top pick. If someone from Raw wins, I really hope it's Lacey Evans. I think that'd be fantastic for the stories. It would be great. You could see it right away. You could tell.
Woo!
It would be amazing. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would love it if it would be Lacey Evans. I feel like they won't do that, unfortunately. That's the best case scenario.
With a tear in my eye. Imagine she cuts that promo after she wins with Flair next to her. Oh.
And if we go,
please,
if we go
Lacey,
with like a mystery.
Oh, I hope
wish.
Lacey wins. Oh God, I hope she wins.
I wanted to.
When they cut backstage and Flair had her in a rear waist lock. My goodness, that was just beautiful. What the fuck was going on? He's like, got her from behind, and he's like, there, Nature Boy. You're like, what's going on here? And then you realize, oh, he's showing her a wrestling move, kind of. But, yeah. I mean, he was just holding her, you know, hugging her from behind, and she's in her little wrestling outfit. Like, my God, Nature Boy. And then Charlotte comes in and starts talking trash to Nate. And then Lacey punches Charlotte in the face, drops her. And then Flair looked like he was going to do something to Charlotte after. He looked like he was going to, like, he, like, kind of went over to her and, like, looked like he was going to talk trash or, like, maybe put the boots to her or something. And it looked like Lacey had to pull. Yeah, it looked like he was going to put the boots. And then Lacey had to, like, pull him away. That shit was the best. That was the best part of Raw, by far. By far. That was amazing. The cut to Flair backstage, holding on to Lacey. And then Lacey cracking Charlotte. Charlotte goes down. Flair wanting to put the boots to his own daughter. Like, what the hell's going on? Holy shit, that's my favorite thing on Raw. Oh, it's so good. Oh, people don't seem to like it as much as I do. I don't know why. Are we the only guys that like this angle, John? I don't know. This is fantastic to me.
I think people like it for different reasons, obviously, but I think people like. To me, it's one of the best stories they have going. So I mean, go all the way to WrestleMania with this. Give Lacey the Rumble, have Charlotte win the title somehow. Yes. That should be WrestleMania easily.
Yes. Yes.
There we go. Good.
Yes.
We're in agreement on that one.
Yes.
But you know that's the pipe dream. I mean,
I would love it. As Douglas Hepburn says on the chat, Lacey, if you're gonna do it with Flair.
That's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. But if they bring in a
Douglas
mystery
Hepburn,
person, I think.
member of the team. Our members know what's up, John. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, if it's going to be a mystery person, I'm going with Rhea Ripley because she had such a great performance last year at WrestleMania. I think they'd give her another chance. But again, that's probably the lowest opportunity, I think, or lowest possibility, I think, of someone winning the Rumble, sadly.
How about the
I feel
genius
like
of
that
the sky, Io Shirai?
Maybe she'll be in the Rumble match because, like, we've talked about this. There's still, like, what, 16 spots, 17 spots left? Like,
Ooh, they're gonna put Tony Storm in the Rumble?
I could see a lot of NXT. Like, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get, like, Lita or something.
Lita.
But that's about it. I don't think Trish is coming from Canada to go wrestle in the Rumble, sadly.
Yeah, no Trish. No, maybe Michelle. I saw Bob Cote mention Michelle. Maybe Michelle. I can see that.
Well, Michelle had COVID, right? So, I mean, as long as she's recovered from it.
So did Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, well, Drew's like superhuman, apparently, so.
Doug Hepburn wants to know where Keith Lee is. He's not official for the Rumble. I kind of figure he's going to be in it, but he wasn't on Raw, and they kind of disappeared him. Maybe he's got the Rona. I don't know.
Well, he did wrestle Drew, right? Maybe he was around Drew. Who knows, you know? Oh. I mean, we didn't see Baron Corbin's Knights this week as well. They didn't even talk about it. So, I mean, unfortunately, they only said Drew had COVID. They didn't say anyone else did. And, like, it's kind of surprising. Like, only one guy had COVID. That's very surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible that Keith Lee has the Rona. We don't know. Oh, man. Lacey Evans winning the Rumble would be something, though. Ric Flair helping her do it. And then Charlotte somehow gets the title from Asuka, and they do something there. And then, wow. That would be nuts. I could see it all going down. And I could see the Nature Boy turn it on Lacey at Mania to help Charlotte keep the title, you know? It all works out in the
I
end.
like it for Lacey actually to win, and, like, they actually turn face. Lacey and Flair turn face over Charlotte. Because for me, Charlotte's the heel in all this. You don't see that? I definitely see that.
I do see it. She doesn't want her father to be happy.
Well, also, like, that whole, like, oh, you're not a legend anymore, you're an old man. Like, that's kind of like what Randy was saying. Like, you're putting him down. Like, and you're supposed to be the face. Like, you're not coming off as the face. And she also said something like, oh, if this helps me out, I'll help you out kind of thing. Again, like, that's not a face. That's like, that's just, you're a jerk in a sense. And, like, you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, but you did kind of feel bad for Charlotte, when she's saying, this isn't the first time that you spend all your money on other people other than your family. I'm used to this kind of behavior from you. Kind of shitty father, I mean, feel bad for Charlotte. She did have to deal with Ric Flair as her dad.
But she says one thing like that, and then she kind of takes it back. She's like, oh, this is the darkest I've ever seen you. And it's like, really? Like, do you remember your dad's career? Like, your brother and all that? Like, come on. Like, that was just bad writing. Like, that shouldn't have been said.
Yeah, it was interesting. Charlotte is not coming off like a babyface at all in this thing. Her promos have been very mean towards Flair, and not. And Flair just seems to kind of want to hang around and want to be with Lacey Evans. Fantastic stuff. So the Royal Rumble, John, those are our picks. Our official picks are, I got Daniel Bryan and Bayley, and you're going with
Bianca.
Who are you going with? Bianca Belair.
Bianca
Who's
and
your
Edge.
man pick? Edge. Rated R superstar. Now, if it's not Edge or Daniel Bryan, who's it going to be? I
have Lacey Evans.
No. Man picks, dude. If it's not Edge or Daniel Bryan, who could it be?
Oh, I'm thinking Brock. Can we say mystery
he's not
people, or does it have to be on the roster?
Brock.
He's not coming
Brock.
back? Wow. That might be kind of tough then. Like, if it's not Edge or Daniel Bryan, like, Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, I guess Braun Strowman, sadly, like I don't think it should be Braun Strowman, but I mean, really, there's no other cases. I want to say Sheamus, but it's really hard to get behind Sheamus, sadly. Like they barely give Sheamus anything, sadly. Like that handicap match where it's like, oh, you feel bad for Sheamus, but like I still don't believe in that he's going to win the Rumble. He's already won a Rumble too, by the way.
Yeah. Derek John says Jinder Mahal.
Well, because he watched the Superstar Spectacle. I did too, but I don't think they'll give it to Jinder because of that.
I don't
It was
think
a fun show.
Jinder and Drew at Mania. If they do, like, count me out. If Jinder wins the Rumble. Remember when Jinder was WWE champion, though? Like, I don't know, man. They might want to do that again.
WrestleMania, come on. I mean, maybe you for that, like a Raw or something. Maybe even a pay-per-view, but not WrestleMania.
Who did he beat for the WWE title?
He beat Randy.
He beat Randy Orton for the WWE title. I mean, come on, man. They gave him the title. Anything's possible with Jinder. We've seen this before. Jinder could come back and win the Rumble. Derek John is not wrong. I'm telling you. That's not a bad pick. And that's typical WWE shitty. You know, it's like, oh, they're going to do the Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre thing because they were in 3MB together. And they're going to have the worst match in Mania ever for a WWE title. And that's hard to do because there's been some stinkers. Like, that would be typical WWE.
Yeah, but like I feel they've been pushing the Sheamus, Drew McIntyre friendship more, so I feel like you could see that as a match where Jinder, that was on a show that I don't think a lot of people saw. And yeah, sure, the 3MB thing existed, but it wasn't a big thing. And like, again, the match, like, are you really looking forward to seeing this on the biggest show? I don't think so. Maybe, again, on a Raw or some random pay-per-view, but not WrestleMania.
I agree, 100%. How about this? Jay White.
Well, that'd be fun against for like surprise kind of thing. Like that'd be fantastic, right? To win the Rumble, you're really shooting for the stars on that one.
Mm-hmm. Do you think if he came in to the Rumble as a surprise entrant, people would know who he is?
Well, the fake crowd, of course, would know exactly. He'd get one of the biggest ovations, no question. But that doesn't matter.
I think a lot of WWE fans would be like, who?
Exactly.
He might be going to WWE. Him and Finn would be ridiculous. Like Bullet Club leaders against each other, that would be nuts. Him and Finn in NXT, I think that's where he'd go if the WWE does indeed wind up signing him or has signed him. I don't know. Word on Jay White is like super quiet these days. Nobody really knows. Everybody knows that his face has been taken off the New Japan roster, like on their webpage. He's not there anymore. He hasn't appeared for them. His contract was up, so, you know. And Jay White's one of the top guys in New Japan, former champion there. Really good guy. Main evented Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. Young guy, speaks English, can talk a hell of a promo. You know, like this guy is a hell of a heel. He'd be a get for any wrestling company, you know? And if WWE winds up getting him, whew, look out. Like that's going to, if they got Jay White, he's going to be a major star for them, you know, for the next 10 years. I think he's under 30 still. It's ridiculous. The guy's very talented and very young, so. But winning the Rumble, probably not. Showing up in the Rumble, I'd say it's a long shot, but I would pop for it, you know? But I don't know how many other people would really care.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, it's cool. Like AJ Styles showing up a couple of years ago, it's cool. But again, to believe that he's actually going to win the whole thing, highly unlikely. More than likely, they've got the match set up already. Like they know who they want to win the Rumble. So, like anything else is just extra at this point. I mean, it'd be cool to get extras like the surprises. The surprises help make the Rumble match even better than what it actually is. So, and I'm not expecting one of the best Rumbles here because, like, who knows how many people they're going to allow in at the same time because like maybe it's going to look bad. There's too many guys in the ring at one time. Though I don't think it's a big deal. They're all tested,
No,
but whatever.
they're all tested. Yeah, they're all tested.
But I could see them just maybe limiting it for whatever reason. They just don't like so many people in the ring at one time for whatever reason. You didn't see the Battle Royal end the show on SmackDown when it kind of should have.
Could John Cena win the Rumble? Yes. Derek John, I'm seeing
possible.
he's saying it on the chat. Doug Hepburn saying Gronk is off this week. Could Gronk win the Rumble? Please no. Please no.
Yeah, but then he's got to play in the Super Bowl. Like that's not happening.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware he was also playing in the Super Bowl. John Cena, I could see him beating, winning the Rumble, taking on Roman at Mania. Yeah?
I hope not. I mean, again, nothing's impossible
Makes
with
sense.
that, but
Biggest
I think
outside shot surprise. Biggest. What do you got? CM Punk? What do you think? Craziest.
Again, we're not counting Brock, right? Brock's out of the equation in this one.
I really think he's out of the equation. And if he's not, like if he does show up, like shit, who knows? But I don't know. I feel like he's not going to show up. I've read a bunch of things saying, no Brock, he's not going to be there. But I think he's going to be at Mania, so why wouldn't he be in the Rumble, I don't expect him to win the Rumble, but maybe. Maybe he shows up, wins the Rumble, goes after Drew McIntyre, and they do that again. I don't know.
Well, again, you don't need to win the Rumble to get a title match at WrestleMania, right? It's only one of the title matches, so. And I kind of like what Derek John just said right there. Goldberg and Cena, that would be pretty good, but that doesn't need to be for the title.
If they do it, it would be, though.
No, I don't think so. It really doesn't. It's just the name value.
No, they'd do it for the belt. They'd put the belt there. They'd get Drew's belt, and they'd give it to one of them. Goldberg. I could see Goldberg beating Drew McIntyre, John Cena winning the Rumble, and them doing John Cena versus Goldberg at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Definitely see that happening. I get 100. Yeah, I see it now in my mind. It's like best case scenario. Vince McMahon just, oh my God, pal, there's no bigger match we could do. Goldberg. Oh. They would love that. Salivating over that match. I hope they don't do that. But, like, man, you see how many options are out there? Derek John throws that option out there, Cena and Goldberg, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Cena wins the Rumble, Goldberg beats Drew. Yeah, they could fully do that for Mania. That would be something that they would like to do. Ooh.
Yeah, there's options. There's no question. But again, like I think it's less likely of that happening. I don't think John Cena is going to make more than like maybe a appearance before WrestleMania, probably. So I'd be surprised if you see him at the Rumble.
Why am I thinking Daniel Bryan's going to win the Rumble, John? He's not going to win the Rumble. He never wins the Rumble. Every time I think he's going to win the Rumble, he doesn't win the Rumble. He's not going to win, man. I want him to win the Rumble, but now I think about it, I'm like, they're never going to give it to Bryan, are they? They're never going to do it.
No, he could. I think that he's a strong candidate. Again, like if Edge doesn't win it, I definitely think Daniel Bryan's winning it. So you have that. But I also think Daniel Bryan might be one of the first two guys to enter the Rumble. Daniel Bryan's going to be in this a long time, I think.
It's okay. Could Dominic Mysterio win the Rumble? Dominic Mysterio versus Goldberg, WrestleMania.
Never.
Doesn't get bigger than that.
I mean, I think the big match for him is like him and his dad.
No.
I mean, they might do that. Him and his dad against like Ziggler and Rude for the tag team titles. I could see that.
Versus his dad is the big match for him. Turns on his dad.
Maybe a year from now, maybe. Yeah. I can go for the tag titles first.
I don't give a shit about him at all. Him versus Goldberg, I just think would be hilarious at WrestleMania. They should just do that. Otis versus Goldberg, I would like. I think Goldberg beating Drew would be great because it sets up a lot of ridiculous matches. Daniel Bryan versus Goldberg. Big E possibly versus Goldberg. That's actually Big E's dream match. If Big E wins the Rumble, he could wrestle Goldberg. You know, many options for Goldberg that are all more hilarious than the last. Otis versus Goldberg, I think, would be really good for a WrestleMania main event for the WWE Championship. Just the fact that Goldberg's in a match here at the Royal Rumble is hilarious. Ugh. Is he going to win?
Well, he's also going to be at WrestleMania, apparently, too.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to win. Unfortunately, as much as I want to see him win, I don't think he's going to win. I think
you dick.
No, I mean that. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I mean that. Unfortunately, he's not going to win. I want him to win.
That.
I think.
I know.
I want him to be WWE champion. I love how people have commented the fact that I changed my headliner on Twitter. I put Goldberg as the WWE champion, and some people were not very happy about that. But that's too bad. It's the way I feel. I want Goldberg as the WWE champion. I feel Drew McIntyre. He's not cutting as WWE champion. He's okay at best. But you need a true guy like Bill Goldberg as the champion. He's a true star.
And you need a real champion, a real challenger, a real professional wrestler like John Cena to come in and take the title away from him.
I was thinking more like Randy Orton or Edge, but yeah, okay.
Man, it would be so sweet for my man John Cena to take the title away from your guy Goldberg. And the promos. Like, the promos would be pretty awesome. Cena just ripping Goldberg for being a shitty man and wrestler. It would be pretty good. And Goldberg not able to say anything back to Cena. Cena could do some work on Goldberg. I wouldn't hate it. The build. The match would be, awful, but I don't know, man. The Rumble's going to be fun. I hope Daniel Bryan wins. I think he's going to win. It makes the most sense. He's got unfinished business with Roman Reigns. They never finished that storyline. He beat Jey Uso, and then nothing happened afterwards. Bryan was like cutting promos on the revenge he wanted on Roman Reigns, and he never they never got to it. They did the whole Kevin Owens program. It felt like as filler in between for the revenge match with Daniel Bryan that they've kind of postponed. So it's like, okay, well, have him win the Rumble so that Roman is faced with Daniel Bryan. And I feel like you could do some good promos and good work leading into Mania between Bryan and Roman. Like, a lot of good stuff there. So, I think that makes the most sense. As far as the Goldberg shit show with Drew McIntyre, fucking no idea. I'm pretty sure Roman's going to beat Kevin Owens. I think the match will be pretty good. Their ladder match there at TLC was excellent, so I have high expectations for their last man standing. It should be good. Kevin Owens is one of the best wrestlers in the game, especially in a no DQ format. He always does some crazy shit. Roman is a great bumper, very tough guy as well. I think that match will be fun. I see Roman coming out on top, though, at the end, still Universal Champion, and then taking on Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. As far as the other side of it with the Drew McIntyre and Goldberg and The Miz with the Money in the Bank, I don't know. Or does The Miz wind up winning, and does Daniel Bryan go up against Miz at WrestleMania? The only problem I have with that is it makes less sense than the Roman Reigns thing, and I don't see Miz and Daniel Bryan as like a marquee match you put on a poster that sells tickets. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a money match. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, you could build that a little bit better than Miz and Daniel Bryan. Roman's a big star, But as far as Goldberg and how he fits into WrestleMania, like, I do not know. And I don't know if Drew McIntyre walks away from the Rumble as WWE champion. Miz might, Goldberg might. Who knows, man? What do you think?
No, I'm thinking Drew walks away from the Rumble still champion. I'm thinking Miz doesn't try for maybe he'll try for a cash in, but doesn't actually do the cash in at the Rumble. It would be actually great. You would hate this, of course, but you have Roman versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan somehow beats Roman, but then Miz does the cash in.
Oh.
I think you really save the Miz cash in for WrestleMania because, like, he cashes in on one of the champions. I think that's a great idea.
It is a great idea, but it would piss me off so much. Daniel Bryan finally gets there, beats Roman at Mania, and then Miz takes it from him. That bastard Miz. I mean, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think Drew is going to beat Goldberg. I think you're right. I think Drew beats Goldberg. I don't think Goldberg wins. I don't know what they do with Goldberg at Mania, but I don't think it's going to be I don't know. But then what do you do with Drew at Mania? Like, if Drew does beat Goldberg, who challenges Drew at Mania?
That's a great question. Like, I feel Edge works no matter what, but it's not the best match for him. I feel Randy Orton's the best match. You say Randy's going to wrestle The Fiend instead. It's complicated, sadly. So, in the end, Daniel Bryan, if you think about it, makes the most sense for winning the Rumble then. Because it seems clearly, no matter what, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania, that just makes a lot of sense.
Yep, that's how I would do it. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania. I would do Edge and Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. I would do Goldberg versus John Cena. I would do Fiend versus Randy Orton. I don't know where Brock Lesnar fits in, though.
I think you do Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
Why?
Because it's just a great match to have. And it's WrestleMania. You want to have good matches.
Loser leaves WWE?
No, it doesn't need a stip. I mean, if you had a stip, just make it like a no DQ match or something. But I don't even think a stip. Just make it a match and just let them go.
It's not WrestleMania. It doesn't really make sense. Just a one-on-one for no reason. They're not built in any kind of feud right now, John. They're not doing anything
but you got so
together.
much time. You got so much time from now to WrestleMania.
Well, Sammy's involved with something with Big E still. He's still on the hunt for the Intercontinental title. I could see Sami versus Big E at Mania, but probably before. Right? That's not anywhere near done.
Happens before, I would think. I think we've kind of talked about Big E. Like, he would wrestle maybe someone like Apollo, because that's not done too. There's a lot that could go on with Big E.
Big E's an interesting character right now. Intercontinental champion on his own with the New Day. There was a time when we thought he might win the Rumble. I don't think he's going to win it. But
no, sadly.
I think he'll probably be Intercontinental champion still at Mania and be featured in a nice spot defending that title. So that's good.
That'd
be
great.
Good for Big E, you know? All right, what else is happening on this Rumble card? We've got Roman versus Kevin. We both think Roman's going to win, right? We've got Drew versus Goldberg. We both have Drew walking away still WWE champion. Two champions retaining at the Rumble. Okay. Asuka and Charlotte.
I got one title change.
Asuka and Charlotte Flair defending their tag team titles against Nia Jax and Shayna. That one just kind of thrown on out of nowhere. A little bit weird. That's a match. You think Asuka and Charlotte dropped the titles?
I think so. I think it was just to give Charlotte something on her comeback. But now I think it's, just to make it, again, status quo, that Shayna and Nia are, like, unbeatable as a team. And it's probably going to be like a four corners match at WrestleMania with a bunch of different teams to beat Shayna and Nia finally. And maybe you just have Charlotte and Asuka going into WrestleMania feuding to see who will be the champion. You could actually just go with that match again as well.
Charlotte, Asuka?
I think you do Lacey, obviously, but...
Yeah. Now, do you really want to see Charlotte and Asuka versus Shayna and Nia again after what we saw on Raw this week?
Are we talking about the Nia bump? Because I don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people had a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it.
No, I'm talking about Charlotte and Shayna not knowing how to get back in the ring before the 10 count.
Well, I feel like this happens almost every week. This happened with the Hurt Business too, like the whole double count-out thing with the New Day. Well, a lot of people don't know how to get back in the ring in the right time. It seems to be a common occurrence on Raw now, so it doesn't mean anything to me.
So Charlotte, Dana, and Mandy are wrestling Shayna, Nia, and Lacey. It started out Charlotte versus Shayna, but then that ended quickly when Nia just attacked Charlotte. The match never really happened. And then Mandy and Dana, the sexy muscle friends, made the save. And then Lacey showed up to even the odds, so we have a 6-woman tag. And Charlotte and Shayna are like outside the ring, and they both Charlotte kind of rolls into the ring just before the 10 count. It looked like Shayna got in before, but the ref didn't think so, and then called for the bell, and the match ended with Charlotte, Dana, and Mandy winning by countout. We go to commercial, we come back, and for some reason they've restarted the match. And then
Adam Pearce restarted it.
Okay, so Adam Pearce restarted the match. But, like, it was obviously botched. Everybody watching was like, obviously something went wrong there. They restart the match.
Right.
And then Nia, Shayna, and Lacey win, beating Dana, Mandy, and Charlotte. You're talking about Nia's devastating chokeslam to Dana Brooke? It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was like a rough bump, but it wasn't... I don't think it was unsafe. It didn't look that... She landed flat on her back, right? I mean, she landed hard, but flat, right?
Yeah, I had no problem with that. I know a lot of people complain and say, no, she's dangerous and all that. And like, she gave her a bump, you know, that's how the bump would be. I mean, she changed it up into a chokeslam. If anything, it was kind of creative to change it up like that. I definitely think she meant to do that. And, you know, if you have a problem with that bump, like, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be in wrestling.
I don't think she meant to do it. It looked like she kind of lost her grip and she kind of readjusted in the air on the fly, you know, but she did it safely. Like, I think she dropped her a little harder than she intended to because she didn't have as good a grip as she might have wanted, but, you know, I mean, you see Dana's traps and her back, like, she can take a bump. She's all right. She's one half of the sexy muscle friends. She's tough. She's a pro wrestler. That's what they're in it for, right? I don't know. People just like to get mad at Nia, I think. I think people like to see Nia Jax and be like, oh, that was not safe or that was not safe. It's like, well, sometimes, you know, when she punches Becky Lynch in the face, yeah, you know, I mean, she shouldn't have hit her that hard. There's a couple things that Nia's done where you're like, yeah, okay, that was a little, you know, but this was not that bad. This was not that bad. I mean,
well, the thing with Mandy Rose too.
You see what Lance Archer did to Eddie Kingston this week on Dynamite? Fuck, man. You want to talk about unsafe? Jesus.
Oh, no, that's just beating the crap out of someone. Like, well, not being unsafe. It's just
the
like,
choke slam to the outside? That was ridiculous.
He clearly knew it was going to happen. Like,
I thought he killed him. That was awesome. That was great. It was a great bump. We'll talk about AEW in a bit. Oh, man. Anything else happen on Raw that's worth talking about? I guess Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton. Alexa has a match, kind of, with Asuka for the Raw Women's title. A bunch of effects happen. Alexa Bliss looks different during the match. At one point, she was like old Alexa, like pre-Fiend, and she looked like she didn't know where she was, and she looked afraid, like she'd snapped out of it, and she was like, what the hell's going on? Where am I? So you could see, like, there's different Alexas within her, like, and they come out in, like, fully formed in front of your very eyes. And then Randy Orton shows up and gives her an RKO. I don't think we had a finish to that match with Asuka and Alexa. That's how Raw ended this week, with Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Alexa Bliss.
And you would think Randy Orton would be a top contender to win the Rumble, but sadly, everyone believes that the Fiend's going to cost in the Rumble, and sadly, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. How come Riddle?
I love how.
How come? Yeah, go ahead. Before I talk about Riddle.
No, you go ahead. Like, what about Riddle? Like, what's going on with Riddle?
How come he's not wrestling Bobby Lashley on the pay-per-view for the U.S. title? Didn't he win a gauntlet match on Raw?
Yeah, to get a future title shot, but they didn't say it's going to happen at the Rumble for sure. And like, yeah, I think the Rumble, there's too many matches when you think about it. The Rumble, two Rumble matches, that's 2 hours right there. And I feel with the other matches, they have maybe 3.5 hours. So these pay-per-views are supposed to be shorter now, so there's no room for it.
You could tell Raw was they had a very thin roster. Almost every match was like the same wrestlers over and over again, right? The first match we had Charlotte versus Shayna, and then it was Charlotte, Dana, Mandy versus Shayna, Nia, and Lacey, and that lasted for a while. Then you had Xavier Woods beating Slapjack, and then you had Sheamus versus John Morrison, and then you had Miz and Morrison versus Sheamus, which was super weird because Sheamus beats John Morrison in a good match, solid match. You know, he was like sweating after the match, panting, limping around the ring when Miz is asking him to have another match, except it's against him and Morrison at the same time, and for some reason Sheamus accepts, which was a really dumb idea because he got beat up and he lost the match. And it was 2-on-1. Miz hits his finisher and pins Sheamus in another long match. So Sheamus and Morrison worked a long time there. And then you had AJ Styles beating R-Truth. And then you had Matt Riddle over Shelton, Matt Riddle over MVP, and Matt Riddle over Cedric Alexander. So you had Riddle working 3 matches. So Riddle worked 3 matches. Charlotte and Shayna worked 2 matches. Or 3 matches, really, because it got restarted to another match. You had, who else worked 2? Sheamus and John Morrison worked 2 matches. Like, everybody was double or triple booked on Raw. Alexa Bliss has a big, long promo, and she's in the main event in a match. Right. People were missing on Raw, right? Somebody, like, who's missing? Keith Lee, and is that it? I feel like for that many people to be double, triple booked, they had to be missing more people. Who has COVID? What's going on?
Yeah, it's a good question. If I'm not mistaken, Jeff Hardy did wrestle.
Did he?
I want to say he did something again with Elias or something, but maybe I'm thinking the week prior, perhaps.
No, I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure.
I don't think Jeff or Elias were on this show. Or Jackson Riker.
So there you go. There's some guys that are just missing for whatever reason. But I think Jeff's still like confirmed for the Rumble, if I'm not mistaken. So for whatever reason, they just had a limited crew. And that's just them being safe, perhaps. Just, we'll just do the whole, like, everyone wrestles, like, more than once. They've been doing this for the last couple of weeks now, if I'm not mistaken. So, and you kind of saw it again on SmackDown. They just carried over the roster over to SmackDown in a sense, right? So they're just using a limited crew. They're just being safe. That's fine.
Are they being safe, or do they just have not that many people right now?
Well, I mean, if they really needed people, they could always get people from NXT, right? But they don't need it.
It's weird. It's a weird Raw this week. Definitely bit of a weird SmackDown with all the people coming in. And I think the Rumble's going to be a bit weird as well. I hope Hulk Hogan wins.
Well, it's always fun, though, to see what could happen in the Rumble. Doesn't mean it's always going to be good, but it's the expectation that maybe it could be.
Sasha versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's title. Sasha's not losing.
No, and I'm not really looking forward to this match. Like, I don't know, you saw that promo on SmackDown. Like, Sasha has these promos sometimes where it's like, what the hell are you talking about sometimes? Like, it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, I think that they like Sasha, the fact that she was in the Star Wars show. And, like, I think they want to push her like crazy because she's becoming more popular. But sometimes these promos, they aren't that great.
I really don't like Reginald the Sommelier and his terrible French accent.
Well, my problem is like he's smiling too much. You know, it's like you're not supposed to be friends with this person. You're supposed to be enemies, and you're smiling way too much. Like, it's just off-putting.
Yeah, I don't really care about this Sasha Carmella match. I think Sasha will probably win. It could be all right, but whatever.
Carmella's look good, like, in the last couple of outings she's had, but I don't know how much time they get on this one, sadly.
Carmella does look good. What are we talking about here?
Talking about her wrestling. Her wrestling's actually gotten better. I guess you're distracted too much, but whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, they actually wrestled too, by the way.
Bad Bunny is performing his hit song Booker T at the Royal Rumble. Bad Bunny. That's from Butcher and Blade and Bad Bunny, right? What's she doing here?
Well, no, it's a guy, if I'm not mistaken. But
What? The Bunny is a guy? Somebody better tell the Blade.
I haven't heard the song. Apparently, it's popular. And it's great for Booker T that he's getting this. Like someone made a song for him. That's great, and that's cool that Booker gets pretty much a spot in the Rumble now because that's great for Booker.
Who the hell is Bad Bunny? He's a Puerto Rican rapper. What does he do? Reggaeton? Is he a reggaeton? Oh, he's a reggaeton man. Latin trap or reggaeton? Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. Bad Bunny. 26 years old from Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny. I've heard about this guy. I don't really know him. He's reggaeton, and he's got a song called Booker T. And with Booker T in the video, I saw the clip that they showed on like Raw when they announced him being on the show, and I was intrigued. I haven't watched it yet, but I feel like I would like it. I feel like I'm going to enjoy his performance on the Royal Rumble. And I think Bad Bunny might steal the show. Bad Bunny! Bad Bunny, I feel like, should be on Beach Break, no? Bad Bunny Beach Break. Is Bad Bunny going to be on Beach Break, too? Beach Break.
No, it's totally different kind of celebrities instead we get. We're getting more like Shaq and like Snoop Dogg. Like, WWE's going a different direction.
Is Beach Break affiliated with Body Break? Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod? Is that an affiliation? Beach Break? Body Break. Body Break. Diddle-diddle-diddle-doo.
I don't think so, but it's nice that you're using references that AJ would actually know. I don't know why you don't use it on the same show as him for whatever reason.
Respect to Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod. Canada's top fitness couple. All right, are you fit? Are you in shape? Are you looking good? Well, there's something you need to be doing. Manscaping. Take care of yourself. Take care of everything that you have going on in every aspect of your life. Go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code ringside20, and you get 20% off your order plus free shipping. What can you get at Manscaped? Tremendous question. You could get the Lawnmower 3.0. It is the best clipper on the market. You will get shaved right down to the skin. No nicks. You're not going to get cut. I know sometimes you get a little bit nervous going down near your package with something that goes bzz, bzz, It's a little, you might get a little bit nervous. You don't have to get nervous with this thing. I'll tell you, I used it, and I was a little nervous. I was like, how close can I get with this gimmick? Because I don't want to hurt my penis, right? I don't want to hurt my ball sack. And I didn't at all. It's tremendous. It's a tremendous product. I cannot recommend it enough. I've used it. You can tell I've used it. The way I'm talking about it, I've used it. I'm using this thing. It's tremendous. And you know what? You feel like a new man after you use it. You feel fantastic. You look great. You smell great because you're using that ball deodorant. Little ball deodorant on your balls. You're smelling fantastic. You don't have any of that musk. You don't want to smell musky. You ever have at the end of a day, you shower in the morning time, you come at night, you go take a piss, you smell something. What is that? Is that your balls? Is that your balls? Get ball deodorant. What are you doing, man? I don't have that problem because I use Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use that promo code ringside20, you get 20% off your order, you get free shipping, and you get all the products that you need. Your balls will thank you, and the people that go near your balls will thank you as well. So hook yourself up, take care of yourself, all right? All right. Johnny. How you
Fantastic feeling? PSA.
God bless. Who uses Manscaped? The hunk, Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Ziegler. He does. He does. He wrestled Hangman this week. You didn't see any ball hair in those little trunks. Ryan Nemeth. That is Dolph Ziggler's brother. He was on AEW this week, and he lost to Hangman Page after a buckshot lariat. What did you think of that match?
I thought Dolph's brother looked very rusty. And then I looked it up that he hadn't wrestled since 2018. So it's like, yep, that made a lot of sense right there. Like, a lot of potential. You could tell, like, he knew what he was doing, but he just seemed like he was a little bit off in certain areas. And then I see that he hadn't wrestled since 2018. I'm like, yeah, it shows.
Why would they put him on Dynamite if he hasn't wrestled since 2018, and you put him on Dynamite against Hangman, who's not, he's not going to wrestle a slow pace. Hangman's, you're going to have to keep up.
Well, I think it's just because he was friends, one. I think that goes a long way in AEW. And two, like, you look at the guys that could have wrestled Hangman, just like the unknowns they have on Dark. They really didn't have anyone where it's like, oh, that catches your attention kind of thing. But he does because, it's like, that's Dolph Ziggler's brother. He looks like Dolph. So right away, people that aren't usually fans of the show would catch on to that. If you're a wrestling fan, you'd be like, oh, I want to see what this is going to be like.
Well, I hope that they bring him back. I think that there is potential. I agree. I'd like to see a little bit more. What do you think of Matt Hardy doing a promo and watching the Hangman match and talking about, being with Hangman at Stadium Stampede and knowing about the love between himself and the Elite and wanting to be there for Hangman? Hangman's got nobody to turn to, but he could always turn to Big Money Matt. Offers him a space in his private locker room, and Hangman seemed like he might take him up on his offer. Hangman is lost, The Dark Order was taking him in for a while, and he seemed to want to hang out with them, but didn't want to fully join. Now Matt Hardy seems to want to take him in. I think we might see a similar scenario play out where Hangman kind of thinks about it, and then in the end goes off by himself with a bottle. Like a cowboy.
Yeah,
cowboy he is.
I think this is going to happen with, like, a lot of groups, I think. I think even the Inner Circle might even offer him something, and he'll be like, no, I'm just going to go get drunk somewhere, and that's it. And that's going to be his gimmick, I think. Until eventually, I think he'll feud again with Kenny and go for the title.
One day. He's fun to watch. Gotta love Hangman. Eddie Kingston beat Lance Archer this week with a pair of brass knucks, got the pinfall. Butcher and Blade brought out a beaten Jake the Snake to distract Archer and the referee. The Bad Bunny, gave Kingston the brass knuckles. Eddie, not Kofi Kingston. And Butcher and Blade and Kingston beat up Archer after the match. So some cheating there from the Bunny off the distracted ref gives Eddie Kingston the brass knucks to beat Lance Archer. That chokeslam that Eddie Kingston took outside the ring, hit the apron on the way down, was nasty. The beating he took in that match was vicious, man. Yep.
That
was a good match. It was fun to watch. Not the most technical wrestling match, but violent, right? They brought the violence. Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk, he really brings the violence, and Eddie Kingston was there for it.
Yeah, that felt like a fight. That was a great way to start the show, in my opinion. It didn't feel like a classic wrestling match. It just felt like two brawlers going at it. But for the most part, it felt like it was very one-sided. But that's fun to watch. And Eddie Kingston's a great heel, where it's like he's getting the crap beat out of him and has to use every means to cheat to finally win. I liked it a lot, and I'm actually looking forward to their rematch. I think it's going to be this Wednesday. I think they're having a lumberjack match.
Yes, it will be Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer at AEW Beach Break. Sorry, that's what they called him in New Japan. I just can't. Lance Archer! When he would come out in New Japan, spitting on people. Those are the good old days, pre-COVID, when Lance Archer would come out and literally spit on people. He'd have a bottle of water, and during his entrance, he would just come out and just Triple H just spray the crowd, like right up into them. He would walk through the crowd and just spit on people. Triple H spray water over a bunch of people, and he's a big guy, so he's taking big gulps, and he's got like multiple water bottles that he's emptying throughout the crowd. Imagine doing that now.
I
You
used to
know?
do that actually on indie shows. A lot of guys would used to do that actually, just take a water bottle and just like spray the people in the front row. Unfortunately, that would get a lot of complaints, and a lot of people would be very upset. So that unfortunately had to stop, unfortunately, on indie shows. But it was always fun to do that.
Yeah, spitting on people is not really something people appreciate, right?
Well, no, for us, it wasn't spitting. It was just taking a water bottle and just like spraying it, just
Okay, and that's not
randomly.
what Archer did, though.
Yeah, I know, and like he gets away with that. We couldn't even get away with what we were doing. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's in Japan. New Japan, they kind of knew the deal, and it was part of the show. Lance Archer would spray you with the water. I mean, the Bushwhackers used to lick people on their way to the ring in the WWF. I remember this, and I remember as a kid liking the Bushwhackers, but really hoping I was never at a show where they came close to me and licked my face, because that just seemed unpleasant. But they did that.
Yeah, but that was all in good fun, and people wanted them actually to lick them. So,
Yeah,
as
well,
weird
same
as
with
that
Lance
was,
Archer. Same with Lance Archer. You want him to spit on you because it's part of the fun of the Murder Hawk monster. Just like some people wanted the Bushwhackers to lick you. Did you want to get licked by Butch? You
heck
probably
no.
did. You probably did, you pervert. What's the matter with you?
I don't know how that makes you perverted, but I didn't want that, and more than likely it was the plants that did it, anyways.
Oh, that was gross. That was disgusting. So, yeah, it will be Lance Archer with Jake the Snake versus Eddie Kingston, Butcher and Blade, and Bunny in his corner in a lumberjack match. I hope it's not one of those AEW lumberjack matches where they just use the lumberjacks to kind of dive on them, use them as props instead of the lumberjacks being what they're supposed to be and a way to keep both guys in the ring. If they exit the ring, they just get beat up. It's going to be hard to beat up Lance Archer. They don't really have that many guys, especially that could just be lumberjacks in their kind of jobber area that could stand up to Lance Archer size-wise. You know what I mean? Like, who are they going to have as lumberjacks? Luther?
Whoa.
Serpentico?
No, there's quite a few.
Anybody big? They could get... Are those bear guys around? They could get those bear guys. And that guy who wrestled Moxley last week. Those guys are big. They do have some big, dark, AEW dark talent, right? I want to call them dark talent, but people might take that the wrong way. Like they're in the Dark Order, but they're like jobbers. Or
I think if you say AEW dark talent, you'll be fine, because everyone will understand
their job squad. In their job squad, they have big guys. On their jobber roster, they have some large people. So maybe those guys could kind of stand up to Archer, but I don't know, man. I don't have high hopes for that lumberjack match because AEW lumberjack matches thus far have been a total joke. I haven't enjoyed them. I've disliked them actively, so I don't know. And Eddie won the match on Dynamite, so I figure this match the following week, Archer wins, right? Eddie won by cheating. There's lumberjacks here. Archer probably evens the score, right?
Possibly. They also might just give this to Kingston again, because, I mean, you could easily cheat in a lumberjack match as well, so maybe they'll just have that Kingston has Archer's number.
All right. Sting and Darby Allin cut a promo from a warehouse. They're rebels. No, wait, sorry. They're hoodlums. Right? Darby is a hoodlum. Yeah, Sting, Taz said that they're hoodlums, and Sting's like, I'm not a hoodlum. And then Darby's like, I'm a hoodlum, and he like smashes a window, and he's like, Sting, you're a hoodlum, and Sting's like, yeah, and I smash a window too. I'm a hoodlum. I'm a 61-year-old hoodlum. And that was it. That was their promo, and they're going to wrestle Taz's guys at, what's it called? Revolution on March 7th. So that pay-per-view is going to go down March 7th, Revolution. It was going to go down February 20-something, but they moved it to March, right? It was supposed to happen, I think, February 27th, and it got moved to the following... Oh, that's weird. It's on a Sunday? Aren't AEW pay-per-views normally on Saturdays?
But if I'm not mistaken, there's some sort of like UFC. Is there a UFC pay-per-view, I think, on that Saturday?
February 6th?
Or I think there's probably a UFC show or something. I guess they didn't want to run like opposed to whatever was running on that Saturday.
Doesn't seem like much. There's no UFC pay-per-view, so I don't know.
There might be a boxing
possibly
pay-per-view or something.
Possibly. So it's going to be March. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. March 7th? Is it a... Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Huh. Yeah, it's a Sunday, yeah.
Oh, maybe there is a UFC pay-per-view March 7th. Hold on. When's UFC 259? 259 is March 6th. Oh, yeah, and they're running 3 title fights. Maybe they didn't want to oppose that, but I don't know. Maybe. I guess. That makes sense.
Well, because they run unopposed on the next day, so yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not on a Sunday? But usually they do run their pay-per-views on Saturday. This will be the first AEW pay-per-view on a Sunday. But as far as this coming show, they have a big match for that pay-per-view to set up a match on the pay-per-view, a tag team battle royal, where the winners are going to get an AEW tag team title shot at Revolution. Now, the Young Bucks are in this battle royal, and if the Bucks win, they get to choose their opponents at Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So, Top Flight, The Acclaimed, otherwise known as the John Cena guys, Private Party, Jurassic Express, Sammy Hagar, Santana and Ortiz, the Young Bucks, the Inner Circle, Jericho and MJF, and Evil Uno and Stu Grayson will all be in this tag team battle royal, and the winners get a tag team title shot. Now, because the Bucks are in it, and there's that stipulation, I feel like the Bucks are going to win, and they are going to choose their opponents, and they are going to choose the Good Brothers. And I think it's going to be the Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks at Revolution. And I think that's a big match. I think it makes sense. They're together, but they're not quite together. I really enjoyed the Young Bucks and Good Brothers versus Dark Order in the main event of Dynamite this week. But the Young Bucks cut a promo after the match, and they said, you know, if they win, they could pick their opponents at Revolution, and it could be anybody. And they turn to the Good Brothers and kind of hint that it might be them. And then Rey Fenix shows up to attack the Good Brothers, but they take Rey Fenix out, and then Moxley shows up, and he beats up the Good Brothers, but then Kenny shows up to try and stop Moxley. He takes a paradigm shift. It feels like they're building towards Kenny versus Moxley at Revolution again, right? Other than that, what does Kenny do?
Well, possibly that. I also feel like Pac is coming after Kenny, so I feel like it's going to be a 3-way.
Ooh.
And I think that'd be a fantastic match.
Yes. I would like that too. I would like that. A triple threat would be pretty kick-ass between those three. Do you think the Bucks win the tag team battle royal here on Beach Break? And do you think they face the Good Brothers at Revolution?
It feels like it. I mean, the only other teams I could see winning it, because the Lucha Brothers came out right to attack, so I'm thinking maybe them, but I don't even think they're in that battle royal, are they?
The Lucha Brothers did not come out to attack. Only Rey Fenix came out to attack. Pentagon has not been on Dynamite for 2 or 3 weeks now. He's having visa issues, so he's not going to be... They're not announced for the Battle Royal. He's not going to be there, and he hasn't been able to get into the United States. So they're having problems with Pentagon, so I wouldn't count on him. Like, it was supposed to be Pentagon, Phoenix, and Pac, the Triangle of Death, against Kenny and the Good Brothers on Dynamite this week at Beach Break, but instead It's going to be Moxley and Pac and Phoenix. Like, it doesn't really make sense. And even Moxley in his promo on Dynamite this week was like, okay, I'm teaming up with Rey Fenix, but when Rey Fenix was with Eddie Kingston, he was like beating me up, and now I'm supposed to kind of trust him. It's kind of weird. That's because Moxley
Right.
wasn't really supposed to be in this match. Moxley also telling us in this promo that he's going after Kenny Omega. He likes his beer cold, his coffee hot, his water at room temperature, and he likes to have sex in the morning because it's a good way to start his day. All right? Moxley, that's a lot of information from Jon Moxley. What did you think of that? About that revelation from Moxley? Morning time.
Well, I'm not a huge fan of Renee Young, but the fact that she posted "Good Morning Sunshine" on I think our Twitter afterwards, I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Did she?
I'm like, that's kind of funny.
What a monster.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love it.
And she's going to be
good.
on backstage, I think, tomorrow, right? Like, she's actually back in WWE. So.
And pregnant.
Well, yeah.
Was she hosting a show while pregnant for WWE? She's hosting a show while pregnant with an AEW wrestler's child. Amazing. Yeah. Cody Rhodes, speaking of pregnancy, Cody Rhodes was in the ring, and it was weird.
That was great.
It was weird. Cody's like, Arn Anderson and Jim Ross chewed me out for not being competitive enough, for being too competitive, really, with Peter Avalon. Basically saying like he didn't squash him enough, and that was a problem. And JR was like, "You're giving this kid too much goddamn over," which I think is fantastic. God bless JR. I love him so much. Arn Anderson talks about Dusty. That promo from Arn was really great, saying, Cody, you're waiting for a kid, and you might not be 100% focused, but I remember Dusty wrestling Tully, and then he flew home to see your birth. And then Arn talking about Revolution on March 7th, and he gets Red Velvet to the ring, and Red Velvet cuts a hell of a promo on Jade Cargill. And Arn's like, see, she's got the fire, Cody, and I'm not sure if you have that fire. So it seems like Arn Anderson, as Cody's coach, is holding him out of competition because he doesn't feel like he's prepared to wrestle. Is that what's going on here? Like, first of all, Red Velvet, never heard her cut a promo, super impressed. I'm a fan. But what's going on here with Arn and Cody?
Well, you also have to mention the fact that Shaq has pretty much now called out Cody, calling him like a punk, and saying that he wants to wrestle him. He wants the match.
Okay, so is that what we're doing at Revolution? Shaq and Cody.
I think we're doing a mixed tag. I think is what we're doing.
Okay. Jade Cargill and Shaq versus Red Velvet and Cody. That's going to be ugly.
Well, it could be. But I still want to see it regardless. And I think a lot of people, they just look at it because Shaq's been teasing the fact that he's going to wrestle for years. And now he's finally going to do it. I finally want to see this, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'm more interested in seeing what Jade Cargill brings to the table.
Well, that's Jade. There's
Jade
a lot
Cargill,
of interesting factors.
Jade Cargill is in a relationship and has a child with former Major League Baseball player Brandon Phillips. Tidbit of information.
Okay, that's nice. That's not huge, though. The fact that she's friends with Shaq is a bigger thing.
I don't think she's really friends with Shaq. I think that's a work, John.
Well, she should be friends with Shaq.
Oh, my God.
Shaq's such a cool guy. You don't think so? Man, Shaq's awesome.
Icy hot.
Yeah, icy hot. Exactly.
You like Shaq, John?
I think Shaq's cool.
I have a really big Shaq jersey, like a Miami Heat jersey. It's 2XL. I think it would be good.
I believe it. I think I've actually worn that before, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
you let me try it on.
I might give it to you. I just got a new LeBron James Lakers jersey. Nice purple Lakers jersey. Fresh.
I'm a big fan of the purple.
Oh, I love the purple. MJF and Chris Jericho, they beat the Varsity Squad or the Varsity Club or the, what are they called? Team Varsity. Pillman and who the fuck is Griff Garrison? Jericho hit Judas Effect and then a Lion Salt on Pillman to get the win. I think Jericho hit the lion salt as an exclamation point because he fucked it up so bad last week. He's like, let me fucking show you I can still do this. Right? That's what he was doing there. God bless him for doing it because the Judas effect was enough. And he's like, Judas effect? No. Fucking lion salt. And then he does it, and it was perfect. And he's like, 1, 2, 3. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Jericho, you fucking show him fucking lion salt, man. Because he landed on his head last week, and it looked terrible. And then this week, he pulls it off perfectly. And, like, when's the last time Jericho finished a match with a lion salt? You know what I mean? He was proving a point. And point proven, Mr. Jericho. God bless you, sir. I salute you. You fucking Trump supporting Florida man, you crazy bastard. What's going on with you, Jericho? I revoked your Canadian citizenship, I think, last week, but, you know, I still love you.
Yeah, I got no problems with Jericho. Again, like, you know, you can vote for whatever you want in politics. It's not a big thing for me. Like, I just care the fact that Jericho, like, is still competing now. It's amazing at 50 years old, like, what he can still do. He's still one of the best guys on the mic, no question.
Hey, Johnny North, you dismissed my Brandon Phillips tidbit, but I'm seeing on the chat that he was a former Montreal Expo, a minor league prospect that was dealt to the Cleveland Indians with 2 other players for Bartolo Colon.
Well, that's great. But
we got Bartolo Colon for Brandon Phillips, who has a child with the great Jade Cargill. So don't be dismissing my Brandon Phillips facts because this guy is a former Expos minor leaguer, brother. We got Bartolo Colon for him, so let's not fuck around here, John. Bartolo.
Yeah, it's great we got someone good for him. They never played actually for the actual team. Yeah. Congratulations.
Come on. Jade Cargill has a child with a man who was once in the Expos minor league system. More reason to be a fan of Jade Cargill. You know, she's basically an Expo. She's basically Canadian. I have revoked Jericho's Canadian citizenship, and I'm giving it to Jade Cargill. Respect.
So does that make Tom Brady Canadian too? Because he was a former Montreal Expos prospect as well?
No, that's not how it works. I make the rules here. The trade was Lee Stevens, Brandon Phillips, Cliff Lee, and Grady Sizemore for Bartolo Colon. Man, we gave up a lot for Bartolo, but he was good at the end there. I believe that was an Omar Minaya trade. Great Expos general manager, Omar Minaya, who at the time seemed like he was making good deals, but it turns out he just sold the whole farm system to kind of get some half-decent players right now, and it didn't really pan out. At the time, it was like, oh, we're picking up players. This is cool. And then it was like, oh, wait a second. We had a bunch of prospects that he just gave away foolishly. Omar Minaya. My God.
Yeah,
getting deep.
Those last couple of years were pretty rough. Like, at least sometimes they compete for the wild card. Those last couple of years, not even close.
Yeah. Oh, boy. That's why when the Expos left, I was like, I'm just going to fully jump on the Yankees. You know, I always liked the Yankees, and now I'm just going to fully jump on them because I need a winner in my life. It's been too tragic with the Expos. My God, that was hard being a fan of that team. Fucking brutal. Jungle Boy beats Dax Harwood by submission with a crossface type maneuver. Decent match. Shocked at the finish. Beat him by submission. I thought he would lose, and I certainly didn't think he would tap him. Surprised.
No, they're trying to build Jungle Boy into one of their next big stars, and that was a great step to do that. I mean, they had the whole stipulation that Luchasaurus was handcuffed to the other members, so it got to be a clean match. I thought it was just a great wrestling match.
Didn't it look like they were holding hands? Like, Luchasaurus is sitting there, and he's like handcuffed to one of the revivals and then Tully on the other side, and it looked like they were just kind of holding hands watching a match. It looked pretty weird. Like,
but that's the whole stipulation, though.
Yeah, but Luchasaurus has no hands. Tully and the FTR guy could just beat him up easily. They have one hand. They have a free hand, and their other hand is attached to him. They could easily beat him up. It's 2-on-1. Yet, they just kind of sat there happily watching the match together. They eventually did beat him up, but only after they lost the match out of frustration. They tossed powder in Luchasaurus's face and then cut off the horns of his mask, which did seem like they were cutting off an appendage when they did it to him, but, it was just rubber off his mask. And then it looked like they were going to try and cut Jungle Boy's hair, but for some reasons that was too far, and Marco Stunt came out with a chair, and SCU and Top Flight showed up too, because they don't like FTR, I guess. I don't know why SCU was there, but that happened.
Just throw a bunch of people out there, that's it, because Marco Stunt is not enough, and at least they thought that at least, so I don't mind the other teams going in there, because it's like everyone hates FTR kind of mentality, so that's fine, and I think it did a great job of putting over Jungle Boy as like a future star.
It certainly did. It certainly did. Did you pick a winner for that tag team battle royal? I picked the Bucks. Are you going with me? Did you agree on that? You with me?
Yeah, because like I felt like they were going with the Lucha Bros, but unfortunately they're not going to do that because of the whole thing with Pentagon. So yeah, like it feels like they switched the story for this now, where the Bucks suddenly are in the match, and yeah, they're probably going to pick their opponents instead.
How is the hottest tag team in AEW not even in this thing?
You mean FTR?
No, they're in this thing. They're not anywhere near the hottest tag team. The top wrestler, the only guy anybody wants to see in AEW, isn't in this thing. He's a tag team guy. You know who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about by now, Johnny.
Who are you talking about?
Johnny Hungy! What are you talking about? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Johnny Hungy. That's the only guy. Order. That's the only guy I'm ever talking about. So what? There's two Inner Circle teams in it. There's 3 Inner Circle teams in it. All of the Inner Circles in this battle royal. And we're not picking them to win, which, MJF and Jericho could win.
Because that promo MJF did with Sammy Guevara, like I feel like that's going to be a feud going forward, so that's why I don't think they're going to win.
How come Silver and Reynolds aren't in this thing? Silver and Reynolds were great this week in that 8-man tag. Fantastic. When Johnny Hungy came into the ring, and he's like, no, I don't want Carl Anderson. I want the big one. Give me the big one. And he gets Gallows in the ring, and Gallows like monster over him, just towering. That was awesome. I love that. It was, I don't even know who else was in that match. Was it Uno and Grayson? I know it was Hungy, Reynolds, and like 2 other Dark Orders. If you told me it was Colt Cabana and 5, I would have believed you. I like Uno and Grayson, but when Johnny Hungy's out there, he's all I can see. He's the best. He's my favorite. All I want to see is Johnny Hungy. Come on, man. Am I the only one here that only wants to watch Johnny Hungy? Like, be in the elite. All I want to see is Pizza Boy. I just want to see that guy. Mustard Boy. Come on, man. He's the number 1 boy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but here's another thing, too, though. I mean, they lost the main event, right? And they're still, like, pushing him. But, like, if he loses all the time, that's kind of going to hurt him a lot. So he's not going to win again second week in a row. Maybe it's best not to put him in that match.
They should be in the match. They should beat the Bucks. They should be the tag team champions. Johnny fucking Hungy. He's the best.
Well, maybe one day, but they're not going in that direction right now. I mean, clearly they're doing the whole Bullet Club against each other. So, and you don't want to see that? I'm surprised.
No, I do. It makes sense. It's a good match. I'm just like, I just love Johnny Hungy so much,
Well, I think you should be happy. They're probably going to get a match because of him on the pay-per-view.
He just makes me so happy. He cracks me up,
Okay.
man.
Well,
There's something
that's
about
nice.
him. There's something about him. He's just like, it's just like fun, man. You know? He's just like pure fun. You see him and you're like, yeah, I just want to see more of this guy. He's fantastic. His wrestling is great. He's hilarious. Ah. He's the only shoot champion in pro wrestling. He's the BTE champion. He's held that belt for several weeks, beating everybody in all these real challenges on Being the Elite. If you haven't watched Being the Elite, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You should watch Being the Elite because that's where Johnny Hungy shines. Killing it. And on Dynamite, he's been doing well, too. He kind of does that Cesaro thing where he, like, beats everybody up, runs around, you know? Very Cesaro-ish.
Yes.
And have you noticed he started doing European uppercuts, too, with it? Like, is he trying to be Cesaro? Feels like a bit of a Cesaro ripoff, because now that he's incorporated the European uppercuts with that whole kind of run-around attack thing, it's like, well, seems very Cesaro-y, but, you know, that's fine. If you're gonna try and be like anybody, I mean, be like Cesaro, that makes sense.
I feel like, to be fair, like that whole Cesaro like comeback thing, that was like on the indie scene before Cesaro did it. So like, I think he just brought it to like mainstream. So
Okay.
I think probably, Johnny Hungy saw that before as well. So
I like that I got you calling him Johnny Hungy now, too.
well, it's not so much you; it's actually JR saying it all the time. That got in my head. JR would say it.
JR's line this week was so good. When Red Velvet goes, she's talking about Jade Cargill, and she's like, I'm going to beat your bitch ass. And JR just undercuts the whole promo. He goes, she said, bitch ass. You know she's serious. He's just making fun of it.
Well, no,
shit.
I don't think
come
he's
on,
making
man. You
fun
know,
of
he's making fun of it. He's like, oh, she says bitch ass, so you know she's serious. You know she's means business when she's swearing. Come on, man. He's taking shots at the product. It's like so funny to listen to JR call this shit because you could tell like he's not impressed with a lot of what he's seeing, and he's letting you know. He's not overtly letting you know, but if you kind of know JR and you know what he likes in wrestling and you follow, his career, you can kind of tell. You read between the lines in JR's commentary. And I'm a fan. I listen to his podcast. I like JR. We follow each other on Twitter, So.
Yeah, no, you're friends with, JR, you're friends with Dave Meltzer. I mean, you have a lot of friends.
What can I say? I got friends in high places, brother. And I like JR. I love him. I love his commentary. I think it's great. I think he's so great. He's so funny. He cracks me up every week. Fucking JR. Oh, I just like that he seems like he doesn't like the show sometimes, and I really like that. It's funny. Britt Baker beats Shanna. Yeah, Britt Baker beats Shanna with a lockjaw, and then Thunder Rosa showed up. It'll be Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker at Beach Break. Britt Baker Beach Break, baby. Baby. Britt Baker Beach Break, baby. Huh?
Yeah, I guess. I'm actually looking forward to Thunder Rosa wrestling because I think she's probably the best one they have there in the women's division. So that should be a pretty good match. Looking forward to that. I thought Shayna, she looked good. Shanna looked good. I thought, because she's had a couple matches on Dark. She's been gone because of the whole pandemic, but now she's been back a couple weeks wrestling on Dark, and she's gotten better. This is what they should have done with Ryan Nemeth. Give him a couple matches, then put him on Dynamite, because I thought this was a better showing for her.
You watch Dark every week?
Almost every week, yeah.
You watch the whole show?
Almost the whole show, until sometimes I'm like, okay, this is too much. Because, 14, 16 matches, sometimes I get tired after 11 matches.
I don't know how you do it. I watch Being the Elite every week, and you're like, oh, I don't know why you're watching that. And it's like, it's 20 to 30 minutes a week, and it's a very good show, and it's super entertaining. I've tried to watch Dark over the past couple of weeks. It's rough, man. It's not that good.
Well, I look at it like this: it's a tryout show for a lot of it. Like a lot of guys are just trying to, get on the
Yeah,
roster and just trying to, or it's an enhancement jobber match, whatever, and like that. That's fine too.
but
It's something to see.
very rarely have I seen Dark and been like, oh, that I'd like to see more of on Dynamite. A lot of it is like, ugh, I could see why this isn't on Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like that's the
Right.
impression. It's not like, oh, this is cool. How come we don't see more of these guys? It's like, whoa, these guys look super low rent, indie. It's a good thing they never put these guys on TV. Let's hope they never put these guys on TV. Some of these people that they have on Dark, you're like, what the fuck? Really? But like the only guys I've ever seen that I've been like, oh shit, let's see more of these guys, is those Bear guys. Bear Country, what are they called?
I believe they're called Bear Country. I don't know the individual names, but I know the tag
Bear
team name.
Country. The Bear guys. I like them. I saw them on Dark and I was like, oh, they seem to have size. They have a look. They look like a tag team and they're big. Yeah, Bear Country. All right. They're two gay guys. They're bears. I get it. Is that their gimmick? They're like, bears? It's like
Yeah, they're Bears. I didn't actually see their match yet, but I know that they have wrestled, like you've said.
so they're gay dudes. They're like, bears. You know what I mean? It's like a type of it's like a in the gay community, homosexual dudes, it's like a big hairy I mean it's kind of what those guys look like, a bear. I figure Bear Country, I figure they're a gay couple. AEW is very progressive, right? They're bears? Is that not their gimmick?
AEW is very progressive, but again, I'm not 100% sure if that's the gimmick or not. I haven't really seen them wrestle, haven't seen them the presentation, but either way, I mean, it's something to check out. This is what's kind of cool about Dark is you see stuff like that you wouldn't actually see on Dynamite, something that's kind of different. And some of the matches sometimes can be actually kind of decent. As much as me and Jeremy Prophet argue about like if some of the women matches are good or not, I thought there was one particular good match, Ty Conti against Davion. I thought was really good this week.
Davion? Who?
Exactly, someone that you don't know, but actually me and Jeremy met her before in Boston. So I thought that match was very good. I'm sure he completely disagrees with me on that, but that's the fun part of watching Dark sometimes. Just to disagree with him, like I disagree with you.
AEW Women's World Title Eliminator Tournament is coming soon. They keep saying that, but Riho will wrestle Serena Deeb at some point in the tournament. They've announced that.
Right.
What's the problem?
Well, you do. The problem is you're doing this whole U.S. versus like Japan thing, and like not a good idea when the president has decided like to make it harder now for people to come in. Like I don't even know what Pac's gonna do. Like that's rough. Like I guess he can't go back and forth though. He has to stay in the States because like how is Rio gonna get there? Like I guess they have to wait at least 2 weeks, right?
I don't know what the rules are now in the States. I haven't been paying attention. I don't live there. I don't know.
Well, they put in quarantine now for sure, and like in some places, like you can't even travel. So I'm not even sure if they're gonna get Rio or not. Like if they do, it might be a while from now.
I guess that's why it's coming soon, because they
Right.
don't know when they're going to do this tournament. Kip and Penelope will have their wedding at Beach Break. Miro will be the best man. The butler, Chucky T, will be there. Orange Cassidy will get involved in some way.
Of
Are you
course.
expecting anything out of this? Like, is this going to be awful or what? How does this get saved?
Well, I think they're going to get married. I think that's one thing, and congratulations for them early
For
on. I
shoot?
mean, that's great.
Like, for real? A shoot marriage?
I'm guessing it is. Like,
Wow.
why not? I think that's what makes it fun. No.
Wow. The biggest wrestling wedding since Triple H and Stephanie in the drive-thru.
I thought you were going to say Jake Maverick because Jake Maverick, as a shoot, got married and then lost the 24/7 title.
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot that even happened. I think of big
Wow.
weddings in wrestling.
Heartless.
I think of Triple H and Stephanie in the drive-thru, Stephanie and Test getting their wedding interrupted by that wedding. I think of Chuck and Billy, of course, their great wedding with Eric Bischoff showing up there. And
That was pretty good.
Macho and Elizabeth, of course. Those are the great weddings in wrestling history. Those are the top 3 weddings in the history of pro wrestling. And I doubt the Kip and Penelope wedding will come close. Prove me wrong, Kip Sabian. I've been a pretty harsh critic of Kip Sabian over the past few months. I really don't like him. I don't think he's interesting at all. I find him really boring on the microphone and in the ring. I don't think there's anything particularly special about him other than Penelope. So let's see what he can do. I like Miro, though. Miro's cool.
Yeah, well, I think he's the guy to look for in this. He's the big star in this, so I think whatever he does is going to be interesting. And I think this is probably building towards a match with him and Orange Cassidy, probably.
Okay. I guess.
Yeah, I can see your excitement for this.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Usually weddings, like Lashley and Lana, like I wasn't huge into that, but like something big happened off that. Wasn't great afterwards, but like it was interesting what they tried to do.
We never got enough of the Lana Liv Morgan lesbian angle. It's just like,
they just weren't courageous enough.
They were lesbians, but now they hate each other, and now they're gonna wrestle each other. It's like, well, we didn't see any of the lesbian part here, guys. This was all off TV, the lesbian part. That's the best part.
Yeah, they cheaped out on that.
Yeah, that's the part you're supposed to show us, all right? WWE lost their way. They forgot the way they used to get ratings. They forgot the way they used to make money. You know what I'm saying? Eric Bischoff understood controversy creates cash, and he was the creator of HLA, Hot Lesbian Action, which was a legit angle that they would do like many times on Raw. It became a catchphrase. Right. They had to abbreviate it to HLA. That's how often Eric Bischoff was like, I don't know what to do on Raw tonight. We need something big. How about Hot Lesbian Action? Otherwise known as HLA. Because they did it so much. They're like, let's just call it HLA. We don't have time to say Hot Lesbian Action. Let's just HLA, all right? And people know what we're talking about. We say HLA. People get the picture. We've done it enough, HLA. It's like in WWE, when you say TLC, everybody knows what you're talking about. You know what I mean? In outside of WWE, you say TLC, people think tender love and care. You say that to me, like TLC, and people are like tender love and care. I'm like, no, fucking tables, ladders, and chairs, you asshole. What are you talking about? You know? And to me, if HLA stood for something else, I'd be like, no, it's not, whatever. Hot lava ash. It's Hot Lesbian Action. You know what I mean? Like if a volcano exploded at some point and people are like, there's a lot of HLA in the area. And I'm like, HLA? And they're like, yeah, hot lava ash. And I was like, no. HLA is Hot Lesbian Action. Get it together. Eric Bischoff taught me well. Hot.
Well, that's good to know, but
action.
I don't think they are confident in the fact that they will probably create too much controversy. So that's probably going to be the problem why they don't do something like that. They've had many opportunities to have these kind of angles in the past. Remember Sonya and Mandy? It felt like they were going that direction, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I just think WWE's not confident. God forbid
you have two women kiss on TV. You could have a fucking 75-year-old man groping a 29-year-old woman on television, which happened on Raw this week. Okay? He's a 75-year-old man all up on Lacey Evans. You also had a 6'5", 250-pound man RKOing a tiny 5-foot lady to close your show. That's fine, but two women kissing on TV. Oh, that's too controversial, pal. Randy Orton RKOing poor Alexa Bliss. Fine. Ric Flair all over Lacey Evans when she's like, scantily clad. Fine. Fucking two chicks kissing. Liv Morgan and Lana, one kiss on Raw. Fucking out the window. No way. Like, you know what I mean? What are we talking about here?
Well, one, I think he added a couple of years to Flair. He's not that old.
He's not
But
75?
I guess, no, I think he's just 70 or 71. But whatever, it's
Holy
not
shit.
a big deal.
No. Really? I thought Flair was older than Vince. Flair's younger than Vince? Flair's 71.
He doesn't look it, obviously, but, like,
No.
you know, he's been through a lot.
Vince is 75. I thought Flair was older. I always thought Flair was older than Vince.
I mean, he looks it.
He really does.
But, you know, Flair has been through a lot in his life, so that's why. And, of course, you know, the no sleep, I'm sure, many, many years. All the crazy parties that he went to, I'm sure, caught up to him.
Douglas Hepburn on the chat says, Nick wants to know, I think Nick's his son, Nick wants to know how Johnny keeps a straight face during the show. How do you keep a straight face when I'm talking about hot lesbian action? He just does.
One, we're past midnight, so, you know, I have my emotion's pretty much dead at this point, practically. And two, it's like, you know,
it's not a time issue with you.
It's not a time issue with me. Well, it's just, you know, we've done this for so long now. I've gotten used to it.
You just no-sell my shit all the time. You just like to no-sell me.
No, like, you've been talking about HLA, like, you know, since 2004? So.
I mean, since it started, I was like, John, did you see this new concept on wrestling? They've got this thing. They call it HLA. It's pretty good.
Well, to be fair, it was popular.
Since it existed. It was like, oh, my God. Have you seen this? HLA? It's crazy.
Someone wanted to know what happened on SmackDown.
Well,
Not much.
I mean, it's too late now because we already talked about SmackDown, right? If you want to know what happened on SmackDown, go back. We've been doing this show for 2 hours. The show is over. Right? I mean, didn't we talk about SmackDown?
At the beginning.
Yeah. Go back to the beginning of the show, and you can do that right now because we are done. We'll be back here during the Royal Rumble, maybe towards the end of the Rumble. I'm probably going to be on, let's say, around 10:15. We'll be back here. But this is what you got to do. You got to like this video, and you subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe to the channel, you click the bell so you get notifications every time we're on, so that as soon as we're on Sunday night, you get that notification, and you'll be able to check in. It'll be around 10 o'clock, 10:15. Stay tuned here to the YouTube channel. We'll be on right after the Royal Rumble. For sure, we'll be right here for you live. Johnny will be here. My brother will be here in a remote location. We're going to have everybody here. It's going to be a good time on Sunday night. I'll probably be on during the Royal Rumble match itself. And, yeah, that's it. You know, other than that, we're good. RingsideReport.net is our website. Go check out all our shows. Please become a member of the channel. Support the channel. We appreciate it. However you do it, go to merch.ringsidereport.net. Pick up a sweet face mask, a Ringside Report face mask. They are very nice. We've been getting rave reviews on the masks and all the great merch that we have over at merch.ringsidereport.net. We appreciate you supporting the channel, supporting our sponsors, Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code RINGSIDE20 for 20% off your order plus free shipping. And you could do all your gambling over at Bet99. Go to bet99.com and use the promo code RINGSIDE for a $600 sign-up matching. So they will match you your sign-up registration money up to $600. So whatever you put in up to $600, they will match in your account when you sign up at Bet99 and use that promo code RINGSIDE. Dave Simon MMA on all the things, Instagram and Twitter. Follow John at North Genesis on Twitter, at Genesis Johnny North on Instagram. For Johnny, I'm Dave. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thank you to our members of the channel. Become a member. Douglas Hepburn. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you to, of course, Antoinette. Thank you to Patrick. Thank you to all of our members. I'm seeing Douglas in the chat here tonight. And Patrick, I saw you as well. Thank you guys for becoming members of the team. We very much appreciate you being members on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching on Twitch or Facebook, we appreciate you as well. But go sign up and become a member on the YouTube channel. We appreciate that too. One more thing, Johnny. Final parting words?
Yeah, just condolences to Derek John. Unfortunately, his dad passed away. I hope you're doing okay, man.
Yes. Yes, our condolences to Derek John. Yeah, I got that news from him. A good man, Derek John, a great member of the team. And it's always sad when one of our members loses a family member. So, we love you, Derek, and we're here for you. And we hope that the show provided some entertainment here for you during these times. We're a family, and the Ringside Report family, the Wrestling Uncensored family, is here for you, brother. Johnny North, I'll see you on Sunday for the Royal Rumble. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We love you.
Thank you and good night.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Ringside Report started on the radio, added podcasts, and moved to video in 2019. Our hosts are not just fans, but have in-depth knowledge of the subjects. Become a member of our YouTube channel now and become a recurring supporter of our work as we strive to continue to entertain you in these strange times. Pro wrestler Johnny Genesis North joins lifelong wrestling fan and aficionado Dave Simon to host our pro wrestling programming with in-depth coverage of the WWE, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Our flagship show, Wrestling Uncensored, is live every Friday right after WWE SmackDown. Here, you get a review of the week that was. You may not agree with our host. In fact, they often don't agree with each other. But you have an opportunity to chime in with your viewpoint in the chat rooms while live or in the comments section of YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook on the replay. Dave and Johnny also headline our coverage of major pro wrestling pay-per-views and breaking news. Dave Simon is joined by experienced jiu-jitsu fighters Fred Garcia and the ever-unpredictable AJ DeLesio, each Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern with Ringside Report MMA. They try and foresee what's next in the octagon and review, argue, and kibitz in a very friendly, irreverent manner. The three guys also team up to accompany you on all the major UFC pay-per-views with entertaining watch-alongs. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.